Thank you so much for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. And so I want to talk about degree inflation. Okay. So oftentimes, I'm trying to figure out what the next thing is to talk about to sort of I don't know, in my sort of weird mind, I guess it's to kind of try and fix those problems, before they become major problems. And then once anybody, you get the information and you're aware of it, you can kind of make your decisions accordingly based on that new information. And so degree inflation is something I feel like is kind of on the back burner to even high college tuition and certain criteria as it pertains for entry into post-secondary, after secondary school in this country. And so the thing again on that back burner is degree inflation. So what a lot of people aren't talking about is the fact that even with a bachelor's degree, the criteria is now being set in most workplaces that a master's degree is sort of the preliminary accepting sort of requirement that it takes to, get into these otherwise what would be just bachelor degree criteria oriented jobs. So again, it's tough to even sell college, really, if we're being honest, in that it's really not just even the bachelor's degree experience we're talking about anymore. We're talking about the master's degree as well. So perhaps, educators can kind of think of a way to, perhaps offer some sort of hybrid education or something along these lines to accommodate the ever growing need for the workforce requiring a master's degree instead of a bachelor's degree. Now, again, you can understand that that's quite a big deal, especially to people who are, first generation in college, people that are young working adults with no financial support, no safe net at all, whether it be family or otherwise. And so it's difficult to really understand the entire cost of whether or not college is even worth going to at this point. In terms of, I mean, what if the best idea was to just not go to college for 10 years, and let all the universities kind of figure it out in terms of why there aren't students there, because students, young people would, I guess, be more helpful to themselves working, in an entry level job, I guess, than they would spending money and important, valuable, youthful time obtaining a skill set that is only going to require more investment and more time to get an entry level job. You know what I mean? It's sort of it's a big deal. It's tough to sell young people on the idea that getting a bachelor's degree is in any way, shape, or form, kind of the standard now, because it's simply not. Now, I've really not heard that argument lately, which tells me that older people already know about this. It's just we're choosing to, I guess, omit, from my opinion, talking about certain kinds of things, which is the fact that getting your bachelor's degree might not at all be that helpful to you. Now, again, helpful as it is, as it concerns job placement. It's all, but the social experience that you gain from college, again, from a more privileged perspective, right, is not that of the actual education, but of the time that you spend on campus and the friends that you make, and the networks that you build, that you will inevitably, in high likelihood, be involved with those certain groups of people for the rest of your professional life. And if not, then you'll see that if you ever leave the industry and then come back, it's sort of always the same players. There's always some new guys or whatever, but it's more or less that way. So I think degree inflation is something we should be talking about with our young people. I think that if we talk to them about this kind of stuff, it may make them reconsider whether or not, going to college is for them in terms of if they can afford to pay for an experience that should be taken away as just such, right? With that sort of kind of value coming from the experience more than the actual accredited education that universities are selling, and at ever so more higher prices. And again, it's really tough to charge people more money for something that isn't going to be helpful to them at all. And again, it's just degree inflation's a real thing, and I know that lots of people my age are experiencing it. And you can see this commonplace on Monster and like all these massive job posting domains, where they put your label up Indeed and stuff, like your resume, and they come back at you with appropriate matches. A lot of these administrative entry level jobs are seriously requiring a master's degree. And I mean, that's tough cookies, I guess, right? If you just left from university with a bachelor's and you're hoping to get a good job, well, I guess go back to school and hope that that job you wanted a couple years before is still there, right? I mean, so there's a lot of tough things to talk about and consider with degree inflation, but again, it's something to definitely consider, especially because there are alternatives, right? Like vocational school, trade school, any one of these industries that actually need the help and actually pay a lot of money, IT support, all of these things. So I encourage you to look into those things, obviously, and to talk and get the conversation going about degree inflation. It is real and it will affect you.